It's Luke and Naomi.
Episode 109, welcome in.
Woo.
You gonna say it?
No, I purposely did not say anything because I didn't want to say something stupid.
Well, who said it was stupid? But, not gonna say moving right along or whatever.
Yeah, I don't, once or twice of saying that is fine.
Counting
but
right up.
I didn't realize I said it a lot, so.
That's fantastic.
So you get a woo. That's all you get.
Welcome into episode 109. I'm Luke Costin. That's Naomi Lynn.
Hey.
Hey. So I've seen a ton of movies. Naomi is working on seeing a lot of movies.
Getting there.
Getting there. We are working our way closer to 100 movie reviews, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think about
Yeah,
that.
we're 15 or 16 away.
Wow.
To actual, that's
100 movies.
A new 100 milestone we'll have to celebrate.
Yeah, we should.
Anyway, if you're new around here, again, I've seen a ton of movies. Naomi's working on it. So this episode, we've got a interesting review for Shutter Island.
We do.
For somebody who has no idea what the hell the movie was heading into it. I mean, I told her Mark Ruffalo was in it. So she's like, all right, well,
yeah, cool. I'm on board.
I know the Hulk. I'll check that out.
Yeah.
So if you've seen it, relive your first watch through Naomi's eyes. If you've never seen it either, should you?
I'll let you know.
If you know Shutter Island, which you should if you're listening, you know that it's hard to watch this movie for the first time again, right? It's one of those.
Yeah.
So interesting. I have a big question that I just want to put out there first, and I know you know it's coming. Did the twist get you? Did you figure it out first and all that stuff? We will wait for your answer in the actual review and all of that because I want to know what you were thinking as you were going through it all because it is.
Right.
I mean, they could have called this movie Red Herring, I think, because they just throw different shit at you constantly.
A lot, yeah. But my notes are very thorough.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, we're in for a roller coaster of a ride.
All right, looking forward to that coming up in just a little bit. The Whisper Challenge, if you don't follow us on any social medias at all, Brian from England, I'm looking at you.
That's right.
I think, which is fine, but you can find it on YouTube, too. Oh, we did the Whisper Challenge. We were, kind of just tooling around on the internet as you do. We saw some people doing this, and we thought it'd be perfect. So what it is, if you don't know, we put each other under headphones, and we set a line quietly so that you can't hear it in the headphones, and the person with the headphones had to try to read the lips to figure it out.
Yeah.
It went as well for us because it was hilarious.
It was so much fun
I
to try to
enjoyed doing
do. Yeah.
I don't know if we should do it again because, too much of a good thing or whatever, but
right.
It was fun.
But it was definitely harder than I thought. Like,
It was.
I thought I would be able to read lips at least a little bit.
I know it.
But
I watched
apparently not.
The couple of them we watched, it was like, oh, get out of here. That should be fine. And all
Right.
Of that. And, both of ours just completely off the rails right off the bat.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen those, they are up on
Check them out.
your almost favorite social media because we don't have Instagram yet.
We got everything else.
Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, it's up there.
Yeah.
And if you haven't followed us on the YouTube, subscribed or anything like that, do that while you're over there.
Yeah.
Please. Especially since we got some other stuff coming this week. You're going to work on I know it, right? Perfect timing. You're going to work on a behind-the-scenes video, right?
I am. I'm doing that right now.
Actually
we are
working on that
actually shooting that video
right
right
now.
now.
Hi.
I actually moved my chair back because I was going to move my phone away from the video that we are shooting. And you asked me a question.
If you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to put a screenshot of that up there right now that you're looking at. That's the behind-the-scenes going on. What was I talking about? Oh, this weekend. So we're going to do another kind of sips and snacks. It's been a minute since we've done our sips and snacks. And I look at the terrible room if you're watching the behind the scenes video right now. Like we'll get it sorted eventually, but there's my stuff. Sips and snacks. We're going to do sort of a mini return to sips and snacks because it's been a while at Feast Wilmington this weekend. So there's a big craft and cuisine event. So we will literally have really good snacks and really good beer pairings.
Yeah.
So you'll get to see some of those. If you're not following on the socials yet, you should
The
do
biggest difference is Ashley Rogers from Fermental will not be doing the pairings
That's
for
right.
us.
He's not going to create the pairings, but we can trust that the restaurants and breweries that have teamed up also know what they're doing.
I have some faith in them.
Yeah,
Yes.
we know from experience because last year Feast Craft and Cuisine was awesome.
It was.
So be looking out for that one. Also, apparently be looking out for the behind the scenes video that Naomi will have coming. Do you have that? You have a plan for that when? Like this week sometime, or is it next week?
I have no idea.
Well, good. Mystery.
It is.
That you gotta follow.
If you subscribe to us on YouTube, you'll know, because you'll get a notification that we posted some new stuff, and you'll be like, "Hey, it's that behind the scenes video."
Unless you subscribe and turn the notifications off, but that's on you.
Please don't do that.
You can just subscribe if you want. Either way, we'll take it. I'm good for whatever. For whatever. Just as long as we get the follows and subscriptions, we're here for that. Greedy. Greedy.
I was gonna say something else, but it wasn't appropriate.
All right. Let's move on, then we'll jump into our recurrent dose of Did You Know? Got some random facts for episode 109. It literally says Thursday on the thing, so I almost said Thursday. I'm in a...
Wow.
I've been in that, like, just Ron Burgundy reading whatever's on the teleprompter mode all day. We were in a meeting this morning. I started talking about one thing, but I happened to be looking at my notes and mentioned a completely different event, and the whole room thought I was insane. And it was one of those where, simple mistake, but everybody sort of jumps on you all at once.
Yes, of
Jesus,
course.
Okay, I was just looking at the thing. Anyway, here's some random facts. Did you know Nintendo named Mario after the landlord of their first warehouse?
Really?
Yeah. His first name is Mario. His last name is Segale or something like that. But it was a way they were trying to get an extension on paying rent.
By naming a character out of a video game?
So they're like, hey, we'll name the guy after you. And it became, arguably the most famous video game character out there. Who's bigger than Mario?
Maybe like... Oh, I don't think there is. No, Mario's got to be top.
You could argue, Link, Sonic, maybe.
I was thinking like Pikachu, because, that was a huge craze.
I get, I see
and was
what
a
you mean.
video game.
With Pokemon Go. But still, nobody's bigger than Mario.
No.
Donkey Kong?
No.
I know that monkey. His name is Donkey.
I knew you were going to go there.
Coming.
Yes.
Did you know Sports Illustrated once determined that their cover is a jinx 37% of the time?
That's a bummer.
So about 2 out of every 5 people or teams they put on their cover went on to lose or fail.
Yep.
Imagine that. And then
hey, you want to be on the cover? Actually, no, thank you.
You probably know about the Madden curse, Madden football.
Yes, I have heard of that. Yes.
I remember when we all figured that out right around, my friends and I. It was before we had, it's because I'm leaning on the table. Yeah, our monitor's bouncing around a little bit. It was before we had, social media and internets to tell everybody. Nobody else pointed it out until one time it was like, oh my God, that's like 3 or 4 years in a row. And then it kept happening. That was awesome. Did you know Chicago's nicknamed the Windy City, but the actual windiest place in America is Dodge City, Kansas?
Okay. Well, I can see that. I mean, I figure it's probably pretty flatlandish over there in Kansas.
So they have an average wind speed of 13.9 miles per hour.
Okay. So, like, if it was windy every day, it would be...
Yeah, so that's there because we lived in Roswell and we know that's just what the average day there is like 50 mile an hour winds, but it's not constant.
Exactly.
There's those days when there's no wind blowing. So there you go. Did you know in 1983, before Michael Bolton was famous for being mentioned in Office Space, he actually auditioned to replace Ozzy Osbourne as the lead singer in Black Sabbath?
No way. I will not believe that. That is a lie.
So much better of a use of Michael Bolton's talents, I think.
Oh, my goodness. I just know.
Please welcome Michael Bolton and Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath. I just messed that all up. But anyway, I
get the point.
It was before he was famous for being whatever
Michael
he's famous
Bolton?
for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Bolton's. Anyway, moving on. Did you
know?
He
is a singer, yes.
I was trying to think of one of his songs. I got nothing.
Yeah, me either.
And I can't even think of the one they mentioned in Office Space. So how about that? Did you know Art Garfunkel has a master's in mathematics and was working on his PhD when he quit to focus on his music career?
That's awesome.
Ended up being the sidekick.
Yeah, well, who cares?
But it is pretty cool. And then also Brian May from Queen is like an astrophysicist.
Yeah, a lot of like famous artists and stuff like that have big degrees.
That's right. One of the Wu-Tang guys is also a nuclear physicist or some junk like that, which is just the coolest thing. I love that stuff. That is your recurrent dose of Did You Know? Some random facts for episode 109. So we finally come up with a name for the goofy stuff that we talk about every week before we get into the our review here.
Yeah.
And we're calling it the morning show
I like it.
because this is the kind of the stuff we used to read during our morning show back in the day.
So it makes sense.
So, all right, it's time for the morning show. Here we go. Phrases that make no sense. You know, there's those things we say all the time that just make no sense if you really break them down.
Like,
I'm sweating like a pig, but pigs
Okay.
don't actually sweat.
okay, yeah. Yeah, a whole bunch of things like that.
A bunch of stuff like that where, like, you don't, most of us
Like
don't know.
blind as a bat.
Where, yeah, that's
Yeah.
perfect. We don't know where it came from. We don't know why we say it, but we
But
say
we do it.
except for
Yeah.
it's just not really true, whether science has disproved it over the years or whatever. I'm healthy as a horse.
Now
Apparently,
that's just stupid.
apparently, if you have a horse, you know that doesn't make sense. I guess horses are sick all the time or something.
guess.
Horse people, help me out. I don't know. Are they? So
I
okay.
just know they're expensive, so
How about this? We know a couple of people who have very young children. I slept like a baby.
yeah. We
Yeah.
all, even if you don't have kids, you know that one's not true because you've heard the horror stories.
There's two of you that listen that I'm thinking of specifically
Yeah.
right now, and you know who you are too. Slept like a baby. Infamously awful sleepers babies are.
Yeah.
Shout out to my little brother. It was just terrible. How about this one? Unthaw or dethaw. I catch myself slipping into that every now and then.
Unthaw?
Because to thaw is to
Unthaw.
unfreeze
Yeah.
or dethaw. It's defrost, unfreeze.
Unthaw.
But is unfreeze even a thing?
Unfreeze?
Paul
I
Moore's
don't
just
think so.
freaking out somewhere right now.
Yeah, probably hates this whole conversation.
Fast forwarding.
Yeah.
This one, everybody does, including my lovely wife. But everybody does this. 6 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody does that.
A.m. means morning.
Listen, I got to get to that 500 word, 2 pages, double spaced, whatever. So it is 6 o'clock, 6 a.m. in the morning.
6 a.m. in the morning. That's every time people do that is ATM machine.
Yep.
You know?
Well, because if you don't say ATM machine, it doesn't sound right. You can't say AT machine. And you can say ATM.
Now.
But, just no.
When they first came about, that was the thing, though, ATM machine. Now it's just ATM.
Yeah, I get that. But I'm just saying you can't say AT machine.
Right. The
Yeah.
AT machine.
It just doesn't work.
That sounds like Star Wars. How about saying somebody did a 360 when they change?
Oh, yeah, because then they'd be right where they started.
That's right. It's a 180 if
Yeah.
they did anything. And that's the correct phrase. But a lot of people do get that right. But there are you've heard it. People referring to a lion being the king of the jungle when, lions don't live in jungles. That's like a whole world got that wrong for our whole lives.
I guess I never really thought about it, honestly.
Right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Except for, what is the cowardly lion? Does he sing the word jungle? I feel like he says forest
I don't know.
in The Wizard of Oz.
I don't know.
If I were king of the forest or something like that. I can't remember.
I don't feel like.
But I think he says
because there's like foresty scenes in that movie, so I would go with forest.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you for the backup.
I got
appreciate that.
I got you.
Irregardless.
Yes. Or wait, is what's the other one? Reoccurrence.
Reoccurrence.
Yeah.
All right.
Those two. Those two. I just noticed.
Yeah.
A lot.
Irregardless. It's just regardless. Don't need the ear. For all intensive purposes. The phrase is intents and purposes. And while we're here, it's first come, first served. First come,
Hey.
first served, everybody. Just because. Like, the amount of times I hear that where you just say it to the point where it doesn't make sense sometimes.
So what are you thinking that it is? First come, first serve without the D?
Sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's really butchered even more where I don't even know.
Okay.
But it is first come, first served.
Makes sense.
Anyway.
Is that the hill you're dying on?
That's the hill I'm
That's
dying
the
on.
phrase?
Yes. How about this one? We're talking phrases that don't make any sense. Money can't buy happiness.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense
I
because
will
I know
spend
it
it
can.
all proving you wrong.
Yep.
I can buy.
It buys peace
Happiness.
of mind, which is no stress, which is happiness.
Yes.
So
Happy as a clam.
I don't think that one's necessarily false. You don't know if a clam's happy or not.
Right?
So that
And they're
one may
dumb.
work.
So they're not mad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ignorance is
That
bliss,
one's
right?
dumb, for
So
People alternately advise don't sweat the small stuff, but then they say it's the little things that count.
I don't like that
I
one.
don't like that one either.
No.
How about the early bird catches the worm, but also the second mouse gets the cheese?
That's true.
Here's one. This is on the list. This isn't me.
Okay.
Everything happens for a reason. No shit. It's called cause and effect.
You hate that one so much.
I do. I've used it, but I absolutely do hate it because, yes, everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. That's like, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Like, it just,
But sometimes it helps when you're really, really stressed and everything keeps going wrong in your life and you're just like, I need something.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
It's a country song.
I'm sure
You
it
know,
is.
the truck broke, the dog ran away, the wife left you.
Yeah, but everything happens for a reason.
There you go. Somebody give that to JD so he can make that into a JD and the Badlands Band song.
I'd
would
love that.
Kill it.
Yeah.
They would absolutely kill it.
You should text him right now and tell him to do that.
I am gonna. Everything happens for the reason. Episode 109, Luke and Naomi partial writing credit. No royalties. Just
a thank you. A footnote.
mention
take
us.
a footnote.
Just mention us somewhere because
Yeah.
I love it when he used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
All right. What else were we talking about? Phrases that make. Oh, last one. Last one.
You got another
There's
one.
last
I thought we were done. Okay.
Skibbity. Just throwing that in there for everybody who hates it.
Come on.
But it makes no sense, right? All right.
Right?
Here's one to get you fired up. Texas woman hit the lottery for $83 million, but they won't pay her.
What?
Yeah.
I don't like this. So I have 8 million irrational fears. 8 million of them. And
Where are we
counting.
going with this one? Okay. Is
Some
one
of them are like being framed for murder and being stuck in jail for like 20 plus years because I wouldn't survive. That's really scary for me, and I'm scared that something like that would happen. But also one of those scary things is if I ever won the lottery and like hit like, you know, $10 million or in this case 80 some odd million dollars, and then like couldn't cash in the ticket for whatever reason. Like there was a smudge on it, so they wouldn't let me cash it in or whatever. Like, can you imagine the feelings of like the exhilaration of, oh my gosh, every dream I have, I can now like buy.
I can't
can
even
make
imagine
everything
the effort
perfect.
you've put in to think about this.
It has crossed my mind a time or two.
A little bit, right?
A few times.
A little
yes.
bit. I mean,
yes.
this
So this-
sounds like you have notes.
So this story, I'm already scared for this woman.
So, here we go. Now, I just here we go. $83 million, $83.5 million, doesn't matter. There's a chance they won't pay her also. She bought the ticket through a courier app called Jackpot. It's owned by DraftKings.
Okay.
The plot thickens, right?
Yeah.
Because now I can already see you shifting over to go, okay, maybe not. You pay through the app, and then they send someone to go buy your ticket for you. So that's weird, but okay. Lawmakers in Texas have been moving to ban the app and apps like it because Texas state law says you have to pay cash for lotto tickets.
Okay.
Around 9% of tickets sold in the state are bought through one of these. So it's not a lot.
But you shouldn't have the option or even be able to, you know, buy that lottery ticket then if you're not buying it for cash and that's against the law.
Well, it's weird because it sounds like it's a DoorDash. Like I'm paying DoorDash my
kinda.
credit card, and the DoorDasher is using cash on them to go buy a lotto ticket. Because
Yeah.
it's not like the credit card is being swiped for the lotto ticket. That's what I'm speculating out here. So the Texas State Senate recently passed a bill that would have banned them, but the House didn't pass it, so it never became law because, you know, that never happens. But now after the woman's win, the Lottery Commission announced that they specifically are banning these apps. So Jackpot stopped operating in Texas
but
after her win.
But she already won.
Yeah.
They should have to pay it out. She already won.
They should have to pay out. You're right. Texas Governor Greg Abbott launched an investigation into the win, and that's why she hasn't been paid. The lottery says they won't pay up until the investigation is over, and she's not the only one they're investigating. They're also looking into a big lotto win from 2023. This one, though, is not cool. A company in New Jersey bought $25 million worth of lotto tickets and won a $95 million jackpot. So they beat the system and officials don't like it, but that's a lot different.
Yeah.
I mean, this woman spent like lotto ticket price on a lotto ticket. She didn't
Right.
spend 20, you know what I mean? So like there's a huge company that's ruining it for normal people, but I don't know. I think she should get her money.
I think she should too. I'd be so just more than pissed. I don't even know. Like, I would just lose my mind. Because you would think, like, hey, I just won $83 million. Again, I can pay off my house. I'm going to help out some people. I'm going to, you start planning how your life is going to change.
Right,
And all of a sudden, it's like, no, we're not going to pay this out because
That's a
blah,
pull the
blah,
rug
blah.
out from under you.
Well, that's like the people who've hit the jackpots on the slot machines and stuff, and it's been like, no, that machine was malfunctioning. You don't actually win that money, because we've heard of those stories happening. Granted, those are usually, 10,000, 20,000 and all of that, but that's still ridiculous. Like,
Oh, I'd be so
it
mad.
just seems so scammy, and the lottery is already, your chances of winning are so small. It just
So mad.
gets under my skin. I hate that. I hate it.
So, by the way, if any of our New Mexico friends, because you're close to Texas, you might have heard of this story or anything. If you know anything about it, or you hear the outcome, and we don't, let us know, please.
Yeah.
Definitely want to know what's going to happen with this. I'm going to try to follow up on it as much as I can.
I want to know if she gets her money.
It just
I
seems like-
think she deserves that money.
This seems like one of those things where it's not going to it's going to take forever to get resolved, and then
Yeah.
it probably won't get reported on either way.
Yeah.
So I'll see if I can continue to follow up on it and see what
Dig
happens.
some dirt.
But it's just crazy. Like, so it's a regular lotto, right? So it's not a scratch off.
Right.
Because I feel like if it was a scratch off, there's nothing they could do, because, what if somebody gives you a scratch off for Christmas? Then there. But somehow they bought the ticket and then digitized it or something.
I don't know.
Did they send her a
don't know.
screenshot of it, or send her like the physical printout of the ticket? Because if she has that, then screw you, give her the money.
I have no idea.
Oh boy. Okay, moving right along.
You're asking the wrong person. I just heard of this story,
I know.
5 minutes ago.
Moving right along. I think it's closer to Houston, but Houston News Channel had the story. That's where I got it from. The season finale of Severance was the other day on Apple TV Plus. Do you know what that is?
No.
So it's about
I know it's got Ben Wyatt in it.
That's right. That's right. Adam Scott from Parks and Rec, right? From Adam Scott, from the Scott family. If you don't know Severance, it's on Apple TV Plus, and apparently not many of us know Severance because they're losing $1 billion a year. Apple TV
really?
Plus, by the way,
Oh.
which is, I mean, it's Apple. They don't care.
No, that's a, drop.
They're just
drop in the hat.
It's a tax write-off for them.
Drop in the bucket.
Drop in the bucket.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's one for Filthy Kyle right there. So anyway, if you don't know the television show Severance, it's about a company or whatever that has a brain implant that severs your work life from your personal life. So you don't remember working, which sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times you come home and you're just in your head from work from the day, whether it was a good day or a bad. I mean, I've had great days where I just think about work all day and I would rather not.
Yeah.
I'm home now. I want to think about, pizza or
I
something
get
else.
that. But that seems risky.
It does.
I don't know. I don't think I like that.
It does. So someone polled 2,000 Americans to ask them if they would do it. You basically just fast forward to the end of the day, you go home. But the trade-off is you literally lose 8 hours of your day every day. Well, every work day.
Yeah.
So it's 40 hours a week you're losing, which, let's be honest, we're losing it anyway.
I mean, you're not wrong there. But that's a big chunk of your life.
Well, I want to kind of watch the show now and see, how bad it actually gets.
How it plays
because,
out.
It's like a dystopian show. So like, I'm sure
Yeah.
they go the far extreme and Black Mirror style, I'm sure. But, so you just, you fast forward to the end of the day, you go home. So 2,000 people got asked if the technology existed for real, would you get severed? 64% said no way.
Okay.
Another 10% said probably not. And then, that leaves I guess the math breaks down to 1 in 4 people who might.
Who would consider it?
Only 4% of people said definitely.
Okay.
And young people are a lot more likely to think it's a good idea.
Well.
Now, my question is, if you actually watch the show, you're probably going to go, no, don't do it, right? Because you know what's going on in the show and
Right.
all of the scary situations and scenarios. I'm sure I wonder, like, what kind of crazy shit would you end up doing at work you just don't remember?
Right.
They sent me out to murder a guy today, honey.
But you wouldn't know
But you wouldn't know.
you
What
wouldn't
if
know.
you're sitting and watching the news and you like,
Hey, that's me.
the news has like a glimpse of you, but it's not like face or anything like that. It's just like half of your back as you're turning a corner and stuff like that. They're trying to find this man. It's like, God, that looks like me.
That's just creepy.
That's a little, and worse.
Yes.
All the possible
Could
things.
be a lot worse.
Because you literally don't know. I hate some of the shit my boss asked me to do now.
Yeah.
And then you're not going to remember any of it?
Yeah, but hang on a second.
Bare knuckle boxing in the basement.
It could be that you could just get through your workday and all the, crap that you don't want to deal with, and then just come home and you're just happy because,
Well, that's-
It like
That's the kind of
Office
point.
Space, Can I just think I was out fishing all day?
Just kind of zonked me out.
Yeah.
Now that I would take.
So what
I
if
was
that was
fishing
the
all day,
case?
except
Yeah.
for murder.
Well, you wouldn't know because you've been zonked out or whatever.
And you would, but what if, what? See, we're gonna have to watch the show because
Yeah.
what if you go home and you do see yourself on the news? This guy who runs this corporation just started paying slave wages and firing, moms and parents and things. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like it's kind of hard to come up with an evil corporation person nowadays, isn't it? What if you're Elon? And you just don't know it at the end of the day.
Oh my gosh.
That
Back
would
on
be
track.
crazy.
Back on track.
That would be crazy.
Yeah.
So I want to know, would you do it?
That is such a tough question. Because part of me would say yes. Because it would be nice not to... I do take my work home with me. I get home and I think about work for so long after
I
the
think
day.
we all do.
Yeah. It would be so nice not to do that. But not having those 8 hours, like, you're going to miss a third of your life. That's a lot of time.
And then you sleep too for another 8 hours. So you're missing all that time as well.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I think I'd rather...
It seems like a really short day now that you think about the time from when you walk in the door at home to when you leave for work the next day. That's not a long time, especially when you throw sleep in there. Mm-hmm. So, it's hard to, I don't know. It's freaky, first of all.
It is.
There's not a lot that's very enticing about the option.
No.
And that's our question
Unless
for
I
the
can
week.
make, like, a whole bunch of money for it. Then, whatever I'm doing, I don't really care.
That is going to be our question for the week, but
Okay.
we will get there in just a little bit. We got to get to last week's answers and off of this crazy, weird topic that I feel like is just scaring the hell out of both of us.
It is.
A little
Like,
bit,
there's
right?
something a little unsettling. Like, we're going to get done with this show, and I'm just going to have to sit there and stare at the wall for like an hour and just process everything we talked about on the show.
We need to get Apple TV Plus, but the problem is I'm not paying for it, which is their problem too.
Yeah, it is their problem.
$1 billion.
Losing all that money.
That's right. So last week we asked everybody to use the random Street View generator that we put a link to, and we put the link everywhere.
We did.
So everybody had a chance to play along. What is it? You get $5 million, but you're obligated to live there, whatever random location you get. What place did you get? We wanted everybody to screenshot your results too.
And let us know if you would survive there.
That's right.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dwayne said somewhere in Utah. Ew.
Well, at least he's honest.
I've had my share of the desert too, so I can understand that a little bit. Paul says he's at the very north border of Brazil. No-
Seems interesting.
No major city for quite a distance. He says, I don't think $5 billion would help me much there.
Really?
I think the $5 million would help you get the supplies you need to the spot and then never have to deal with anything again.
I think you'd be all right.
In
I
Brazilian
think you could do
pesos,
it.
That'd go a long way.
You'd be fine.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it, Paul. Randy says, I'm living in some sort of fort. This one's good.
Okay.
Of visual answers this week, of course.
Yeah.
You can check them out on the Facebook page where the majority of them are. It looks like it's in... the language looks Russian of some sort, I think.
We don't know.
But yeah, it looks like a fort of some sort. So he's
Interesting.
At least he'd be, fortified.
Yeah.
he'd be safe.
And then he'd have all that money, and he could, just put it on the bank and let it grow some interest. And after 10 years, he'd be set.
That's right. Boom.
Then you can move, and you're fine.
Wes says Norway.
Okay.
He says, looks like I have waterways and woods. This Cajun is going to do just fine with 5 million living there.
Sounds pretty good.
That is a great answer.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's a great answer, Wes. I like that one. Dallas says, looks like here in New Mexico, but it's Spain.
Okay.
Works
Deserty,
for me.
but not quite.
That's right. Tindaya, Spain, or Las Palmas, Spain.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
I like all the ones that are out of the country.
Yeah.
We've got a
for real.
nice mix of in the country and out of the country right now.
There was only a couple actual United States hits from people who lived in the United States.
Ours was the United States, but we'll get to that in a minute.
We will. Where did I leave off? Dallas said New Mexico, but it's Spain. Shannon, we mentioned hers last week. She says, I'm living in the Norwegian Blair Witch Project,
Yeah.
which is hilarious.
That one is definitely a visual one, so you got to make your way over to our Facebook page, Luke and Naomi on Air. Look at the comments. Look at the screenshot that Shannon put up because, yeah, she's not wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't understand the purple. Like, that's weird. The screenshots are all Blair Witch.
Yep.
They're Blair Witched out. So that's an excellent answer. Snowman says, I'd hate that I'm in California, but I'm good with it. He had a decent looking little plot of California. Old Edgewood, West Road, and Weed, California. I guess that's in the northern part of the state then?
I guess.
Something like that. Who else we got? Other Shannon says, Iowa it is.
Okay.
Which I think she'd probably be fine with $5 million in Iowa. What the hell? Right?
Shouldn't be a problem.
Tracy D says, guess I'll be in Cambodia for a while.
That doesn't sound too bad either. Then you got $5 million, like, you'll be fine.
Honestly, the
That's $500,000 a year. You'll be fine.
the spot, just it looks like the country, some land,
Yeah.
beautiful trees and vegetation.
Set.
Make the most out of that. In Cambodia, those pesos got to be, that exchange rate's got to be, up there too, right? Todd says New Albany, Mississippi.
Okay.
Says-
Mississippi.
He says, I'll take it and the 5 mil, please. It's not a bad looking little street that he wound up on. I love it. There's a couple that have like actual houses that we've gotten as responses, which are just phenomenal. Dorsey's got one. Where is he? Switzerland.
Okay.
Dorsey's in Switzerland. What'd he say? Oh, I got to open up the replies here. He says, I'd survive.
Yeah, I think you would.
If you remember Dorsey from the morning show, you can hear him going, I'd survive.
Yeah,
for
absolutely.
Sure. Let's see. And Brian from England.
He participated in this one?
Well, first of all, Brian hit us back with the crazy words, the goofy words that are just fun to say.
Okay. That was our topic, not last week, but the week
That's
before.
right. He says dollop. That's a good one. You can't
That
beat
is a good one.
a dollop of ranch.
I love it.
But the better word, the one that I like better, is tallywhacker.
Of course you do. I'm not surprised by that at all.
And shout out to Brian for putting NSFW in parentheses next to tallywhacker. Oh, I know.
I love it. I
know.
love it.
I'm not at work though.
Yeah.
Tallywhacker. You're gonna be hearing that a lot. Now, by the way, so thank Brian.
Brian, you can't win Listener of the Week because of that.
He has no idea what he's just unleashed on our household.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
he has no idea. I should honestly try to film it for the times that's going to happen because Luke will randomly yell that out now. I should. I'll probably
Tabernacle.
miss every single one of them,
That's
but
right. You will.
I'm going to try.
All right. Brian ended up in Florida. And
Okay.
he says he Googled his new home and he has a plastic flamingo in his garden. He sent us the picture, but now, of course, I've lost it. But it's great. It is the cutest little house. It's got a flamingo in the garden. You probably made out, like, property-wise.
Yeah, it's in Fort Myers, Florida.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably, property-wise, made out the best out of everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe not us, though.
No, he made out better than we did.
Oh, that's right.
I hate our answer. I was so pissed. I was like, we should cheat and do a new one because absolutely not. Like, this isn't happening. I'm not going to survive, and we're not getting that $5 million. That's it. I can't do it. Can't do it for 10 years.
It's a crack house in Buffalo.
No, there's a store in the front. There's just a really rundown shack in the back.
It's a crack house behind a pawn shop in Buffalo. Yes. Down the street from a Dollar General. Uh-huh. So that's not ideal. $5 million for 10 years?
I can't.
I might have to pass on that.
I cannot spend 10 years of my life living in that shack in Buffalo where it's cloudy 9 months out of the year and snows constantly.
And also,
I just can't.
Buffalo Bills fans.
I just can't.
None of it.
None of it.
None of the above. Shout out to your Dollar General.
One of them.
On Zittle Street.
Zittle.
In Buffalo.
Yep.
Pass.
Ours was horrific.
Pass.
Ours was like the worst answer, I swear.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I was so angry.
Keep them coming. If you haven't played yet, you can pop in anywhere. We've got it up, like I said, everywhere, you know, all of these socials and all that shit. But now it is time for Naomi to tell me something. You're waving your hands.
Yeah, I'm waving my hands because we are having a listener of the week.
All right, I was getting there, but you made me freak out thinking that I was forgetting something.
I thought you were going into the review, and I had to stop you right then and there.
I understand why you would think that. That's on
yes.
me. That's on me. All right, now it is time for Naomi's Listener of the Week return.
Yes, best answer. From all the awesome answers that we got, this was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be for the return of Listener of the Week. But we're going to have to give it to Shannon, who is in the Norwegian Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, definitely.
For just a great answer. I mean, honestly, for taking that purple weird screenshot of craziness that she got and, you know, making the connection that she did there. Yeah. So that's definitely deserving of Listener of the Week. So congratulations, Shannon.
By the way, 2 screenshots of the same place with the creepy dark purple Blair Witchness.
Yeah.
And
there's some witchcraft going on there.
I mean, the double screenshot, the comment, it all sealed it right up. Wesley was a close second, wasn't able to get the screenshot for one reason or another. No big deal. No big deal. But yeah, Shannon, definitely, I have to agree. Solid Listener of the Week.
So make sure you get the comments in for our topic this week.
That's right.
For a chance to be our next Listener of the Week.
To that end, we already mentioned, would you do the severance implant? Would you sever yourself from work, your home work life? That means when you're at work, you don't know anything about home. You don't think about home at all. That'd be the one thing, like, that side sounds enticing too. Like, you don't have work or home distractions. Oh man, I can't wait to get home and watch the game tonight. Things like that. But that's also on the same side terrifying too, because you completely forget. Oh, I have a wife at home.
Yeah.
And then, you know, murder.
Or worse.
Or worse.
Or
That's
worse.
Right. Yeah.
Let us know your answers. Again, it'll be posted on our Facebook page, Luke and Naomi on Air, and you'll have a chance to win that Listener of the Week. I want details, you know. Are you going to do it? Why not? You know?
For real. And bonus points that go a long way towards Listener of the Week if you watch the show and you would still do it.
So something really bad has to happen in this show then.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure. Which means that I don't know if I even want to watch it now. Like, that's creepy. Where are we going with this, fellas? I'm going to have to look into it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to read a couple of spoilers and then go, oh, now I got to watch.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, you'll find that everywhere. You can comment everywhere. If you know us, just send us a text.
There you go.
How about that? All right. Is that all of the housekeeping, everything we got to do?
I think so.
That wraps up the morning show.
Yes.
All right. Well, let's get on to it then. Are you ready? All right. I wish we had some dark and spooky, ominous music to play here. The
I don't think we need it because there was enough of it in the movie.
There is, right? That score is half the movie. It's a character.
It is a character. Like, it's just there a lot.
All right, Shutter Island, take it away.
All right, so we meet Teddy Daniels, a.k.a. Leonardo DiCaprio, right off the bat. Him and his new partner heading to what I'm going to assume is Shutter Island, because they're going to an island, so
right.
It's got to be there, with a mental institution for the criminally insane. And there's only one way in and off the island, the dock that they're about to pull up to. Once they pull up, the captain has made it very clear that he's going to be leaving and trying to beat the storm that's coming. Also, Teddy Daniels is not doing well on the boat. He's really seasick, and his wife died in a fire. I feel like that's going to come back into play, so I'm just going to mention that now.
It might.
Yeah, especially the wife dying in the fire part.
Yeah, maybe.
Somehow that comes back into play a couple of times.
No idea why you would think that at all.
Yeah. Well, last week I missed an entire character because I didn't think she was important, and she's like the one who saves the day.
Agent Johnson.
Yeah. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss those things. All right. Everyone in charge on this island seems like they're a little on edge. I wonder if something had to happen, something major. That's why Teddy and his partner are there. They've got to be investigating.
Right.
Mr. McPherson, he's like the warden. He takes him up to the institute. Ward A is for the men, Ward B is for the women, and Ward C is for like the crazy crazies.
The crazy crazies.
Yeah. No one is allowed in there without the warden and some doctor present.
Ward C is for the naked guys.
Yeah, but we'll get to the nakedness later.
All right.
The whole time they're driving up to this institute, this really intense, spooky music is playing. So it's working because I'm already a little creeped out.
Yeah.
But it was a lot. Like at one point, I'm like, okay, you can make that more like background music because right now this is just...
It ramps right up. I saw this in theaters.
Oh, okay.
And it was
so that must have been like
awesome.
deafening as it's happening. But there are certain times where it was like... It
Immersive.
was just a lot.
It was immersive.
It was a lot.
Yeah, sometimes it does to get to messing with your senses and stuff, which I think was the
point.
Desired effect, yeah.
All right, so Dr. Cowley is the doctor that they had mentioned earlier. Apparently the incident was a female patient who escaped. Her name is Rachel, and she drowned her 3 children but refuses to believe that she was sent to an institution. She thinks she's at her home. They locked her in her room at night, or they locked her in her room at night, and then she just kind of vanished. There was a note under one of the floor planks in her room that said the law of 4 who is 67. That, I guess, is their first clue.
Did they ever end up telling you how that got there? I can't remember.
They don't tell you how it got there, but you just kind of assume that she put it there.
No, I mean later on in the movie, like after the reveal and stuff. Do they ever mention that?
I don't think so,
okay.
Unless I missed it. But
I'm pretty sure they planted it there for him, obviously, you know.
Also, she left without her shoes, which that, I guess, seems important.
Well, yeah, the terrain of the island's crazy. It's all rainy and, yeah.
Yeah. They look for her along the cliff sides. No luck, no trace of her. Teddy and his partner talk with the workers, but no one saw a thing. Later that night, they meet with the doctor in his quarters, along with another psychiatrist that sums up Teddy and his partner pretty well.
Yeah.
Interesting scene. Interesting way to give, like, a character a backstory with, I don't know, just a different avenue to take it. I kind of enjoyed that.
It was a pretty good way that they broke him down, too, you know.
Yeah. The interaction becomes heated, especially after Teddy is told that they won't have access to files on the personnel that work at the facility. He says that they're going to be leaving in the morning and that they're done with all this. That night, Teddy dreams of his wife, who tells him that Rachel is still there and she never left. Teddy and his partner interview the patients that were in Rachel's group therapy. They interview this woman that gives them the same story about Rachel, down to the details that the warden or doctor or someone else had said. That she thinks her kids are still alive. She thinks she's at home and everyone is the milkman, delivery person, all that. That was the weird part because she used the milkman, delivery person, postman, exact same phrasing.
Now, as you're going through the review, are you doing what I'm doing right now and still thinking of it from like the real point of view, from the zoomed out point of view of like how they're recreating all this? Or have you started thinking that way yet about this movie? Because you have to watch this at least more than once. I mean, it's just one of those.
Yeah, so I'm not thinking about it that way. I'm thinking about it just from initial, as I met these characters.
So in real time, right now, as you're reading your notes, you're still trying to stay in that original mindset.
I'm trying to.
You're trying
I'm
to.
trying to, but it's difficult.
hard not to.
Yes.
You know, as you're reading this stuff, I'm like, yeah, because they coached her because they're here. All right, never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah. Which was pretty weird.
Yeah.
Something a little fishy going on there. So we get a little bit more of a backstory to the situation. Teddy volunteered for the investigation because he has his own business to deal with. The maintenance man at his apartment, at the apartment where he lived with his wife, started a fire that killed her, and he had started the fire on purpose. Now, he had gotten sent to Shutter Island, but basically vanished as if he never existed. So now that this woman is missing, it gave him the perfect excuse to do some digging on Shutter Island, find out what's going on here. But it seems like something's going on, like somebody knows something, but no one is talking. So Teddy and his partner, Chuck, finally mentioned his name, head out in the storm to look at a cemetery. Maybe get some clues there. But the storm picked up, so they ran into this, like, mausoleum or something like that. Yeah. That's what it looked like. And they stayed there for shelter. Teddy starts telling Chuck some of the, like, his old war stories, which was really creepy.
Yeah, he served in World War II and was there for the discovery of Dachau and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, the concentration camps. We get the scene where they basically gun down all the guards and, you know, kill all these people. So you know that Teddy's been through some really traumatic stuff. I'm wondering if the twist is he's actually a patient on the island. There is no investigation. Maybe he's the maintenance man he's looking for.
Oh.
I mean, he went through a lot of stuff. That could really mess up your head, you know? We'll see.
So you already had it right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
But, like you had mentioned before, that this movie could be the red herring, because I go back and forth afterwards. That was my initial thought, and I was like, dude, no, he's crazy.
So you had the thought there, but you weren't locked in yet.
I wasn't locked in.
Okay.
Because my next line says, okay, maybe not.
Okay, cool.
Teddy goes on to say Shutter Island has been funded by a special grant, and he believes they do experiments on people. Mentions he found a guy that was sent here, released, but killed some people when he got out. They wanted to send him back to Shutter Island, but he asked for the electric chair instead. If you would rather die instead of going into the institution, must have some crazy stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
Chuck makes the connection that maybe they wanted him here on the island. As Teddy was busy digging up dirt on Shutter Island, then maybe they were busy digging up dirt on him. Either way, he's going to be stuck on this island.
That's the conclusion you're drawing already?
Yes. No matter what, you don't get out. There's no way. You either belong here because you're crazy and you killed your wife and all of that kind of stuff, or you're not, but you stumbled across something you're not supposed to know. So why would they let you off the island?
So were you trying to figure out, you know, the whole time, or were you just letting the movie happen?
I was just letting the movie happen.
Okay, cool.
But I was like, something would happen and just instinctively, it was like, oh, maybe that's what's going on. Because you know something is going on.
Right.
Your brain normally is going to try to figure that out.
You don't start a movie with a score like that and not have a freaking mystery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my next notes say, oh my God, this just keeps getting weirder and weirder. So apparently the note from Rachel is referring to 66 patients that are on the island, but is hinting that there's another person, 67. The law for the 67.
Who is
67? Yeah. I forgot what it said. 67 patients. Apparently, too, Rachel has been found. She's fine. She's alive and life's okay. The doctor takes Ted and Chuck to see her so they can ask her some questions. It's a really weird interaction, but she doesn't give them any information. She actually freaks out a little bit, and they end up leaving.
Yeah, you're not Jim.
Yeah, it's so weird. They go back to the doctor's area where Teddy gets a migraine and like the lightning from the approaching storm is just killer on him. So Dr. Cowley gives him some medicine to help him ease the pain. More medicine. That's the second time he's taken pills from the doctor. I don't trust that.
That's freaking you out at this point,
yes.
right? Because, yeah, it does.
So maybe, they're doing experiments on people and Teddy is next.
Uh-oh.
I mean, he started taking these pills. You don't know what's going to happen. And the way they give him the pills. Like.
Every time.
They're in the little,
In the cup?
Yes.
In the little pill cup.
They're in the little pill cup.
Never take pills out of a pill cup in an institution.
Don't do that anywhere, You take them out of the bottle. You see what you're being given. Is that Skittles or something else? You need to know. All right, so he goes to sleep, has some really weird dreams about the maintenance man that burned down the apartment building. But then it changes to Rachel and her dead kids. But then he helps them drown them in the lake, although they're already dead. Like, what the heck is happening?
Yeah.
I know it's just a dream, but I know it's a clue to everything that's going on, too. I mean, that's kind of obvious.
Puzzle pieces, for sure.
Yeah. Teddy wakes up to find that because of the storm, the power's out, and the backup generator had failed, like they said it was going to, which let all the inmates out, basically. So him and Chuck make their way over to Ward C, where they haven't been able to go and aren't supposed to go without the warden and the doctor. But they start nosing around, and it's really spooky and unsettling. I don't like this building at all.
No.
They do a really good job of making it really, really creepy.
That's the old Civil War fort.
Yeah, and the thing that nightmares are made of. You got water dripping. It's dark. You got stairs and walkways that feel like a maze.
Yeah.
And then at one point, they even turn the camera like backwards. And all of a sudden, I'm like, now I am actually lost, and I'm not even there.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Very
That's
creepy.
Yeah, that's a fun scene.
Teddy walks down a hallway filled with cells. Bunch of naked guys in some of the cells. We talked about that.
There you go.
Naked guys in the cells. But one cell holds George Noyce. That's the guy that he spoke to before.
Yeah.
About the institution before. The one who wanted the electric chair instead of going back. He cries.
Jackie Earl Haley, by the way.
He cries that they're going to take him to the lighthouse and cut open his brain. And he tells Teddy he has to let go of his dead wife or he'll end up stuck at Shutter Island.
Yep.
So at this point, Teddy has decided, if the maintenance guy is here, Andrew Leedus, if he's around, it's got to be in the lighthouse because he's nowhere else to be found. So he decides he's going to go to the lighthouse, find the maintenance guy, and find out what's really going on the island.
Latest, by the way, in the dream, played by Elias Koteas, Casey Jones gang from the OG Ninja Turtles. Remember? You watched
barely.
You watched the OG Ninja Turtles.
Yes,
so
I did.
Casey Jones, that's him.
So anyway, Chuck tries to stop him because he's going to go to the lighthouse and all that. Chuck found an intake form that proves there are 67 patients, and he's got the proof. He's got the paper.
Tried to basically read it to him, but
yeah, he didn't want anything to do with it. Teddy's not going to let it go. He tells Chuck he's going to the lighthouse alone. He doesn't look at the intake form. At this point, I'm thinking maybe it's got his name on it.
Yeah, right.
Maybe.
Good guess.
Yeah. Anyway, he wanders off for a bit. Then he tries to regroup with Chuck, but Chuck had fallen off the cliffs to his death. He was down by the water. Or at least it looked like he was.
He did.
So Teddy starts climbing down these rocks. Like an idiot. Or, a crazy person.
Like a crazy guy.
Yep. These are legit cliffs. You got the roaring ocean underneath. Like, what the hell are you thinking at this point? You can't save Chuck. He's definitely done for already. And,
Yeah, what's the plan here? You're going to drag his corpse back up?
Yeah. And you're not getting off this island. I'm starting to really believe he belongs here. Now it gets really weird. Not that it wasn't before, but the weirdness keeps growing. He climbs down the rocks, is able to grab the patient intake form. He shoves that in his pocket, doesn't even look at it. But then Chuck's body isn't there. Maybe the sea washed it away. Maybe it wasn't there to begin with.
Well, it looked like the rock was just the way the seaweed had grown around it, sort of made an outline.
That it could have possibly been.
Who knows? Because in the one scene where he's interviewing that Bridget Kearns, they give her a glass of water, and she puts her empty hand to her face. I don't know if you caught that.
Yes, I did catch
That's
that.
creepy,
And I
right?
was just like, maybe it's something crazy people do. I left it as a crazy person thing.
I love those shots. It was just...
But it gets even crazier because then we have thousands of rats climbing out of this hole. Like, he's got to be going crazy, or he's just crazy. Rats everywhere. They're taking up the spots on the rocks, and then there's a glow from a little cave on the side of the cliff. Like, you got to be crazy. You got to be crazy to be seeing all those things.
Or at least, you know what I'm going to do? Climb through the rats, back up the cliff.
And then go into this little cave.
To the fiery cave.
Yep. And that's where he sees Rachel inside. She wasn't a patient. She was a doctor at the facility. She didn't drown her kids. She never even had kids. Freaking weird.
All right, we've got to take a quick detour here.
Okay.
In this scene, Naomi asked me who that woman is. Who is that woman? Why is she so familiar?
Yeah.
So if you know us, you know we are big fans of a couple of different shows, but Parks and Recreation is one of them. That woman is one of the Tammys.
Is it really?
Yeah, one of Ron Swanson's wives.
She looked familiar.
So there we go. All right,
I was like, I know who that is. Why can't I just put it together? And I couldn't. It was driving me nuts.
That's right. Back to the review.
I knew who Rachel was.
Nailed it.
So Rachel explains basically everything we were kind of led to believe here. They're experimenting on people. He's gotten too close, so he'll never be able to leave the island. They'll say he snapped. His past trauma caused him to lose it, and that's it. There's no way he's getting off the island. This movie isn't going to have a happy ending.
So your guess, your conclusion at this point is just that they're going to institutionalize him.
Yes.
Okay.
At this point, I have moved from thinking that he's Andrew Latus, and now that he has stumbled across government stuff that he shouldn't have, and now they're going to keep him here forever. But I'm also starting to think
Excellent.
that it's in his head. He's not a marshal. He snapped. Maybe he started the fire that killed his wife and he was sent here. So I'm torn. I'm torn inside, and I have to watch this movie and figure this out. So he goes back to the institute, talks with the doctor, who confirms that he's leaving the ferry tomorrow, or leaving on the ferry tomorrow. When Teddy asks about his partner, Dr. Cowley tells him, "You came alone." So Teddy goes along with it. Later, as he's getting ready to leave for the ferry, he's stopped by a doctor who tries to sedate him. He's not getting off the island. He fights back, sedates the doctor, and leaves the facility. But, I mean, if they run the ferry, there just isn't going to be one there waiting for him.
Right.
Like, I don't know at this point what the hell he's thinking.
Like, what's real, what's not, what are they...
Like, you might as well just lean into it at this point. You're screwed. You're just screwed.
Lean into it. Take the drugs.
It's just like the Severance thing. You just lean into it. Forget your whole work day.
That's
Come home
fantastic.
and be happy. It's fine.
Take
Just
the drugs.
lean into it. Yeah. So yeah, he's not going to be able to leave. They're going to drag him back inside, and that's the end of that. He's going to be locked up and have his brain cut into, and the world is going to forget about him.
Yep.
So he decides to go to the lighthouse so that he can at least save his partner, Chuck. If Chuck's alive, that's where he's got to be, right?
That's right, yeah.
He busts in the door at the top of the steps to see, well, okay, so he jumps in the water, swims over to the lighthouse because it's kind of on its own little set of rocks.
I think you could have saved us the journey to the lighthouse.
Well, I figure, he's got to get over
No,
there.
you're not going to do the whole swimming part and not mention knocking out the guard, right?
No, I'm not going to mention that. He
Okay.
knocked out the guard.
So, yeah.
So he busts in the door at the top of the steps of the lighthouse to see Dr. Cawley there. The doctor explains to him who he is.
Who he is.
Andrew
Latus.
I was going to say Letus. I wrote Letus everywhere. L-E-E.
Why?
Letus. I don't know. Latus?
L-A-E. Anyway.
Okay, Latus. Latus?
Latus.
Latus. Okay. The doctor explains to him that he's Andrew Latus, the maintenance man that he's been looking for. That his wife drowned his 3 kids, and he has created this elaborate story. Now, they gave him free reign of Shutter Island so that hopefully by playing out this story in his head, that he's this marshal sent to find this missing woman, that he would find out that the pieces don't fit together and that he's just actually running from his past.
Yeah.
That it's a story that his mind has made up.
Crazy trauma.
He denies it. He gets angry. Then Chuck walks in.
Then
Chuck
Chuck
is his
walks
doctor, who allowed him to believe that he was his friend so he could play out this fantasy, but also so they could, keep an eye on him just in case things got too messy.
Yeah. And they did anyway.
Well, yeah. He hasn't
you blew
realized.
up my car, Andrew. I really like that car. The way
that poor car.
The way that Kingsley delivers that line, it's like a disappointed father. It's like, you blew up my car, man.
It is.
I really like that car.
But the thing is, he's been playing out this thing in his head, for the last 2 days, and they tell him, no, you've been a patient here for the last 24 months.
Yeah.
Then we get to see what it really happened to Teddy.
Which is...
the day he came home, found out that his wife had drowned their kids, then he shoots his wife for what she had done.
And she told him to let it go.
Yeah, it is one of just the most gut-wrenching, awful scenes.
If you didn't say gut-wrenching,
movie.
I was gonna, because that is I don't think there's a better phrase.
And I have to say, we all know Leonardo DiCaprio. I was gonna say Da Vinci.
Donatello.
We all know that he's, a great actor and all of that kind of stuff. He does that scene very well.
It's crazy.
Because just the shell shock of no expression on his face as he's realizing, like, the body in the water, the first one, and all of that. It was just like...
And then the extra just horror when he sees the other two. Like, you think he can't get any more, but he makes you really believe that scene. It is excellently acted, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the wife is just, oh my gosh.
It's
and
Michelle Williams, and I don't like her. I can't watch her in anything else because she was too
because
good
of
at
this.
Yeah.
Yes,
I'm turning
which I
into my
believe
father.
that because it is horrific. It really is. And then the fact that he shoots her, and then he just lost his entire family, and it's just absolutely horrible. So at this point, they ask him again about it, and he accepts his reality. He tells them that his name is Andrew and that he shot his wife after she drowned their kids.
Yeah.
The next scene, we see Andrew sitting outside with Chuck. And Chuck comes up to him and asks what the next move is. Andrew says that he needs to get off this rock and expose what's really happening here, which means, obviously, he hasn't accepted reality. So he still thinks he's a marshal and, was sent here about Rachel and the missing patient.
But
all
then
that.
he says, did you write that down?
Well, I said Chuck looks towards the doctor, shakes his head no at what has, how he has not accepted this reality. And my last note is, it's lobotomy time.
It's lobotomy time. So with the line that Latest delivers to, it's Dr. Sheehan.
Yeah. Chuck.
But he says, what is it, something about live as a monster or die as a good man or something like that?
Yeah.
I think it's meant to make you wonder if he realized and just went for the lobotomy anyway because he can't live with that knowledge.
Yeah.
Instead of accepting it and going, you know what, fine, and I'll go into treatment and do this. You know what, screw it. Give me the lobotomy because I can't handle it.
Which I wouldn't blame him for that.
So what do you think of those two options? What do you think is the one that he chose? Or what do you think is the one that happened?
Well, the last line, I guess second to the last line, when he's still talking about trying to get off this rock,
right,
tells me that he really didn't accept everything still.
But the line he delivers after that sort of alludes
makes
to the
it
fact
sound
that
like he
lucid.
does, but I don't know. They said, even before, they said that, hey, we did this 6 months ago, and you accepted reality and you're fine, and then you snapped back into it.
But he gets up and just walks with them. If he was still investigating, why did he get up and go alone with the doctor and the warden?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because he's crazy.
Bump, bump.
Lobotomy time.
Lobotomy time. All right, well, it is time to crack your head open and scoop out your thoughts.
Ooh.
Let's get into it. We've got our post-review questions.
All right.
First of all, I like to mix them up. How about that?
Yeah, why not?
Title of the movie in the movie. delivered dramatically in the cave by Tammy Swanson.
It was delivered many times in
I
the
know,
movie.
but that one time she says something about Shutter Island.
Yeah, that was the most dramatic part of it. But as for, saying the title in the movie, I give it a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10.
Yeah, it was maybe 3.5 out of 10 for that one.
All right. Cringe level here. It's a newer movie, so I don't expect that to be very high, if high at all.
No.
All right,
No
that's
cringe.
a throwaway for this episode. Did you like it?
I did. Actually, I was heavily invested in this movie throughout the entire thing, especially because, I thought he was Andrew at first, but then they made me go, no, he's not Andrew. There really is experiments and crazy stuff going on here. And then it was like, wait, maybe not.
Wonderful. That's just
threw
wonderful.
me for a loop.
Yeah, that's great. I don't remember ever thinking that it was actually him the first time, just because I was just like, okay, I don't care. I'm not guessing. I'll wait till the end. You tell me.
I'm mad that I thought that right away, and then they made me second guess myself.
I'm seriously, Red Herring Mind Bleep Island. That's what they should have called it.
Yeah, that would have been a great title.
Too long for a marquee, though. That's all.
I guess.
What did you know about it going in?
That it was gonna have a twist.
Yeah, I gotta stop telling you that there's twists.
I'm pretty sure I already knew that from just knowing it.
I do that as a selling point. It's like, well, it's got a twist, and then it's like, shit, I shouldn't have even said that.
Meh.
Yeah, all right. What were your thoughts going in?
Not a whole lot. I don't know.
Ooh, Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, basically. If I hate this movie, I know I'll at least like him, so we're set.
Is he like a sexy actor guy, or you just like him as an actor?
No, he's just
It's not
cute, funny.
It's not like Celebrity Crush guy, is it? Because then we'll have to stop.
No.
No, that's fine.
Then it definitely isn't.
No, I don't care. Let's see. Would you? What surprised you? We skipped that. What surprised you about this? Is it the fact that you had it right and then?
No, I guess that it really surprised me. I feel like the whole movie was kind of surprising. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. So I'm going to give that generic throwaway answer.
All right. Would you have liked it more or less if you saw it when you were younger? And I mean, this movie's from 2009, so however you old were then.
Okay. I think I probably would have liked it less. I probably wouldn't have paid enough attention to it.
Yeah, right.
So then I would be like, this doesn't make any sense.
And then
and would have been a smart aleck
and
about
then
it.
it's the movie's fault, not yours for not paying attention, right?
That's absolutely right.
What was your favorite part?
Well, it was definitely not the mom killing her kids, because that was horrific.
I mean, she was excellent in that role, but it's hard to look at her again after that.
I think I liked, honestly, the ending where the doctor's all calm and Chuck comes in and he's like, I'm your doctor,
You blew up my car.
Yeah, that whole scene, as much as it's terrible because, Andrew is obviously visibly shaken from this whole thing. Just the delivery of them being calm and trying to, hey, we're trying to help you instead of locking you up in some institute where they will do experiments on you and all of this kind of stuff. We're trying to let you at least have a life. Yeah, I think I like that part the best.
All right. Least favorite part?
The kids drowning. That's just horrific.
Easily. Yeah. Would you recommend it to someone else who hasn't seen it?
Absolutely.
Watch it again.
Yes, I would.
Stop if it's on TV.
Probably.
What scene do you immediately need to see again?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Well, because in this one, in these movies with the twist and stuff like that, you get thinking about it over and over again. There's several scenes where it's like, oh man, but I want to know the one. What's the one that's just dug right in?
Them interviewing the patient.
Yeah.
I want to rewatch that. Re-interview everybody.
Excellent choice.
Yeah.
Excellent choice. Because there's a lot of scenes where, even as I'm thinking, this is the at least third time I've seen the movie. So, I'm trying to think of stuff. Because there's a bunch of different ones. I like the beginning when they're first showing up to the island. Mm-hmm. Everybody's tense as hell. Mm-hmm. And going back and watching it, you know why. Because he's the most violent patient on the island.
And they're just letting him wander
and
around.
They're doing this charade for him. So,
Yeah.
like, that's a lot of fun to... So, good pull with the interview and the patients. That's a great
second
one.
scene that I'd have to re-see, too, is when the psychiatrist is in there and is summing up, like, Chuck and Andrew.
Max von Sydow is just always an unsettling guy.
Yeah, but
No
I
matter
want to
what he's
because he's like, oh, that's a defense mechanism and all of this kind of stuff. Like, I want to re-see that too.
Okay, all
yeah.
right, good ones. Are you happy you watched it?
I am.
And I think does it hold up is a moot question for this one because, again, even if it is 09 or whatever, it's still fairly
new enough.
Fairly new in my
Yes.
mind.
So yes, it does still hold up.
It does still hold up.
Yeah.
All right, wonderful.
Yeah.
Excellent review. I'm glad you liked it. There's a couple of our listeners out there who are glad you liked it too, because we got a couple of comments on the tease post today.
Yeah,
We said
a couple people were
favorite movie,
excited.
top 10. Absolutely love that.
I hope I did it justice for you guys.
I think you did. It was
Yeah.
a great review, great movie with the crazy twists and just the whole weirdness and all of that stuff.
Weirdness is an understatement.
Yeah.
All right, it's time for Thought of the Day.
Thought of the day, thought of the day. It's your thought of the day, thought of the day.
Speaking of weirdness.
Stop doing that.
Yeah. Can werewolves eat chocolate when they're human? I thought that was a good one.
You know, we almost watched Underworld this week.
Oh, that would have been perfect.
That would have been perfect for Underworld. Excellent
that's
question.
all right.
Excellent question.
All right, Luke, you gonna leave us with a laugh?
I, in my book of dad jokes, are going to do my best.
All right,
Let's see.
think I'm ready.
Where did we leave off here? All right. What should you do if you're being attacked by clowns?
I don't know.
Always go for the juggler.
So stupid.
What does an apple a day keep away?
The doctor.
Anyone, as long as you throw it hard enough.
Oh, come on. That was stupid.
Why can't towels tell silly jokes?
I don't know.
They have a dry sense of humor.
Don't look at me like that.
What two questions are impossible to answer with yes?
I don't know.
Are you asleep and are you dead?
That's true.
Unless you're in Cool Runnings. Senka, you dead? And finally, why do you go to bed?
Because you need sleep.
Because the bed won't come to you.
Hilarious.
All right. Thank you to Brian for the ultimate dad joke book. I just took the bookmark out. Look, now I got to put that back, figure out where we were. All right. Make sure you check out our Whisper Challenge. We got some videos coming this weekend from Feast Wilmington, so make
That's
sure
right.
you check that out unless you're listening after March 29th, in which case, check them out anyway because
They'll be up.
they'll be up already.
That's right.
What else we got going on? Anything else that we got to make sure we remind people? Don't forget to your answers to the Severance thing. Are you going to do it and why? Most
Yes.
important, why or why not?
Yeah, don't just say yes or no, because that's boring and stupid.
That's right. Okay, then, until episode 110, moving right along.
Yep.
Have some fun this week and be excellent to each other.
Love you, bye.